When you keep koi, it's not hard, but there's lots to think about. As you can see, my grow on pond at the minute looks like a jumbo sail crossed between a Sunday market car boot. So, what is... Well, on my last one, you know, the heater was turned on. This is a week later. Mum's doing this, as I said it would do. I know it would do because the electric prices have gone up, I think 50%. So you're not using any more, but you're paying twice as much, which is fucking scandalous, if I'm honest with you. Sorry for the language. Jeez. Sorry for the language, but that's how it made me feel at that very moment. Because what politicians and the like don't really appreciate, I don't think, they probably do, because they're cleverer than we actually think they are. They might not demonstrate it sometimes, but I believe they are. Look at those dodgy electrics in the background. That was for my fan, by the way, that was up there. So yeah, the heater for the pond has been on 1 week. So I've been sort of adapting it. So I was getting the temperature up. It only took me, I went for it. I did like a bit of a heat ramp. So I didn't do what I said in video 85. I basically went straight to 22. So I set to 22, left it to do its thing. And it took a day and a half to do its thing. To go from 11, I think the ambient temperature at the time was about 10 degrees C. So to get up to that temperature of 12 degrees C more, it took the heater being on for 2 days. So you know what that means. You may not know what that means because your math might not be the best, or you might not be that in tune with your electricity and how things work. If you're not, you need to take a look at that and get yourself so you do know how it works and what's happening. In a nutshell, what's happening is we was paying about 18 pence a unit. We are now paying twice as much as that, and the standing charge has gone up as well, which means you're basically paying 50% more, and it's not at the moment. Seems like it's getting lower, is it? So your brain ticks. Doesn't tick, you just do it naturally. Well, I do anyway. Things tick to something else. If you're heating a pond, you've got to insulate it. Mine is in a greenhouse, as you can see. I'm in a greenhouse, look. I've got a few plants left, which got 2 heaters on. I'm not going to bore you with that. Look at video 85 if you want to look at that. But basically got 2 heaters which heat up this area, and they're both electric. So I've basically gone back to, after a brief spell of panicking and killing a few plants, I must admit, because as I mentioned in video 85, which was the one before this one, I got frost in here, so I've done some damage to plants. No damage to koi, but the temperature in these little ponds went down to about 6-7 degrees C. Because if anyone that doesn't know, your water temperature in any vessel will go to the ambient temperature of the temperature around it. So if you've got an area that's heated to 20 degrees by gas and radiators 24/7, your ponds will be 20 degrees, or thereabouts. So without boring you on how to work out your electric bills, or how to keep on track, or just look at it, if you do want a bit more information, let me know. I have crudely put double bubble wrap on top of the grow on. So anyone that's seen this, there's a sheet of 4mm thick perspex on top of this. Okay, and then I've basically used what I've got to hand. Now last year I didn't cover that at all, but this year I thought, well, I've got this curtain here which I've explained before, and I think I mentioned it in video 84 and 85, so if you want to look at that, this bubble wrap, which is quite thick, this is what, when I first did the greenhouse, these, I think they are 18mm panels, this is what it was all wrapped in. Massive reams of the stuff. I had loads of it because all this got delivered, all the sides, all of this. I ordered it. It cost me a couple of grand in polycarb. Ordered it all. In fact, it was about 1,200 quid, I think, if I remember right, not a couple of grand. So I've always kept it, so I put it to use. I pinned it to there to divide it, because at the time I didn't have koi in here. I had orchids, and a lot of orchids. I was showing orchids, I was winning awards and winning rosettes, and I was trading as well, because I sold orchid supplies and things like that. And I actually won best international trade display one year. Very proud moment. So anyway, that was then. This is now. The plants are nowhere near. I've nearly not got many now, not got many at all. I will be keeping these Neos, but digressing. Basically, curtain divided the two temperatures for two regions of the world. I was trying to simulate with two temperatures because what I was specialising in growing. So that divided it. But last year I divided to take that down and have it all in one instead of dividing between two areas. So cut into this, it's blasted really well, and it's not that thin bubble, it's not that thin crap that you get. It's a really good thickness. So I've got that down, unwrapped it, put it on here. I've got a level going crossways and so I've got one going that way and one going this way, and then I've just basically wrapped that the best I can, sat it on top, just got some plastic tubing, just clamped it. And also I've now set my feeder up, because what I've been doing in the last week, I've just been pulling this back, doing that, feeding them, having a look at the koi in here, and that's it. So there's my overlap that way, and there's my overlap that way. And I've just got a bit of plastic here just to put on there, just in case I want to stand something on. Temperature in here at the moment is actually saying on this thermostat is 21.7, 21.8, near enough 22 for me. Turn that off so I'm not wasting the battery. And then on the heater I've got 18.6. What has happened there? That's strange. I might have picked up a fault there of it not kicking in. It's currently off, but I'll keep an eye on that while I'm in here, check my pump and whatnot. I've just found out what the problem is. I've been working, I said last week on video 85, check what you're doing. What I have done, I've been working, cleaned my filter out this morning on this pond, and I stood on the fucking cable up and I've pulled it out. I've pulled the pump cable out. It's there, look. What an idiot. So this is how things happen, you see. There it goes. Did you hear the heater click? Heater's clicked. It's back on. Shit a brick. Pump's on. So to do something with that, normally they are pulled down into the, I've done that before, so you kind of learn these things about the things you do. So walk round test, vlog 85, I said that at the end of the video, I says do a walk round test. I always do it, and it just proved. Last week I left the ear off to this cow, and this week the power was off. So anyway, I'm not done my walk round yet, because I'm about to leave here, and I thought I'd do a quick video and have a catch up just to show you where I am today. So I'm gonna bore you again. When you're done, check everything, your stats, your pumps. Is everything running? Is everything normal? Yes, great, gone. So what I've done as well, I've now set the heater up, the feeder. This only feeds 3 times a day, but there's 3 times you can set it to feed, and then you can set it to go from 0, no feed, to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it goes up to something like 12. So obviously the higher the number, the more quantity. So what you need to do at first is really put a bowl under them, start on 1, think how much food is, and then I originally equated it to weight of fish, things like that, so you get like a general of how much you're feeding the koi to the weight of the actual fish. Okay, because obviously that's crucial. There's no point giving a fish that size a flipping bucket load, is there? But if you've got like a load of chaggle in a pond and massive fish, then you might need to feed them that much. But anyway, That's another thing. So all I've done here is it's actually feeding now. There it goes, and at the moment I've currently got it on 1, setting 1. Now the battery's about to go on that. And what I've done, I've got some of this insulation boarding, and I've cut a square with the guides here. Cut a square, and I've got a square plastic plant pot with the bottom cut out, and that fits this. On this cut I didn't do it as tight, so I got some elastic bands just to make like a bit of a seal buffer, so I can adjust the height of where I want this. Because obviously what you don't want is sitting right on the water, because you get splashes coming up on the side of on this dish, and then your feed might stick. These are feeding, look, you can see it there. There's the fish that I got from Gatwick. That looks quite a lot of food to me. Now see the fish at the bottom there, that's what I'm hoping to grow. So what I do know is I have fed these too much today, because when I first came in here a good hour and a half ago, when I was titivating, I've cleaned this filter out. What I've done, I've got my mop on this and got any condensation off and cleaned all the panelling, and then I'm just in here messing about. And I did feed them quite a bit of food when I first came in, so yeah, I'm probably gonna have to turn this off at some point and give the filters a good clean, because I've probably overdone it. Because I didn't use my noggle. I didn't think, now I'm going to set the feeder up. That's something I've done since. So over a period of a week, in a nutshell, what I've done, set that up to 22. It got to temperature and it's maintained over the week. I've put the bubble wrap on just to coincide and save me some energy, and it's going to save a little bit. It's not going to make a massive difference, but it's going to make some. And it does. It's surprising how much, when I remove that lid, how warm the water feels compared to the ambient temperature of being out here. So yeah, and then obviously that coincided with set the feeder up. So chucking a load of food in and setting the feeder up wasn't really a good idea. But hopefully the feed will gobble it up, and hopefully not flipping do anything to my filter or anything. It'll be able to cope. So in a nutshell, this is now set up. It's not aesthetically, don't look nice at all, does it? But needs must. I just hope that the prices of electricity and this, what we're going through at the moment, doesn't become the norm. It can't become the norm, because going back to the knock-on effect is, for example, I've, in preparation and not worry but a bit of concern of heating costs, I pushed my temperature down so much. Actually, I turned my stats on me heaters too low, therefore caused it temperature to drop too much. And we had that cold spell a few weeks ago. I had frost in here, and I know one plant I've pretty much killed, because I know this isn't a cold lover, is this one. It does do this. It is like a deciduous species, so it's not the fact it's got no leaves, because it regrows. But if you look at this, look, the mold's got to it. It's still firm, so I'm hoping I haven't killed it, but I may well have done. And on top of that, the Neos here have been fine, but my Mazes have had a lot of leaf drop, which I've mentioned. You get like botrytis on them, and the leaves just rot in the centre. So like that, and then they just drop. That's dead, I think. I'm hoping that I might get a growth out of it and I can divide them all up. So yeah, so the knock-on effect of that is people drop out of hobbies. They drop out of hobbies because they think, oh God, I can't be doing with this, or you lose some plants. That's a knock-on effect to something else. Then you lose a bit of interest, and then you stop the hobby. So which means you're not putting into the hobby. Like koi. you know, I think a lot of people are simply hanging in there in terms of, you know, you hear it a lot in the ponds. People say, well, I've never heated my pond and they've always been all right. Koi do not like being cold. Trust me, they don't like it. The difference between going from 5 degrees C and stagnant and cold to 10 and 12, say 10 degrees C, is massive. I noticed my koi on the outdoor pond, once you get to 8, 9, 10, the feeding coming on the surface. You drop much below 8, you go below 8, and then if it's long periods of cold, what you'll find is they go into what's called torpor. And it's not, they don't hibernate. Anybody that says koi hibernate are talking bullshit. They don't hibernate at all. They're doing something they don't want to do. They're doing something where they're not happy and the bodies are shutting down. And they're just like torpedoes and they're just sat on the pond, stagnant, not doing anything. They're not feeding and metabolism's not working. They're not happy. Who wants to live like that? And then what we do as koi keepers, we have a knock-on effect where we cover them up and we don't see them. So 6 months out of the year, 6 months out of 12, you're not seeing the fish are enjoying it. So what I would say on that, and this might be another story, you know, another video, is if you can afford it, heat your pond in winter. I haven't mine. I've not gone heater on there, but if I was to redo it, and I'm thinking about it in the next couple of years maybe, my final mega build, if you want to call it that, is an air source heat pump, and then in winter set it to 10, and then when we're coming out of winter into summer, when the temperature's higher, they are more efficient. Air source heat pumps take warmer air out the air outside and convert it into electricity, and they put it back into the pond and heat the pond. That's why they generate heat. So it's pulling out warm air out of cold, or warm air out of warm air. So if you think when it's warmer in this country and it's pulling warm air out of warm air, that's the time to heat your ponds, because then it's going to cost you less. It's not going to drag as much warm air out of cold in winter, so therefore it becomes less efficient, which is going to cost you more electricity, because then the air source heat pump's got to drag electricity, using more electricity to do what it's doing. Okay, it's got to work harder, it's on longer, so it's using more electricity. It's still cheaper than electric inline heater, no doubt about that, but it's still going to be probably for most expensive. And these air source heat pumps, brand new, you're probably looking a couple of grand. It's all a lot of money. But anyway, I have been looking at like a bank of solar panels and batteries maybe to run. I've got a fan over there and that's working at the minute again. Look, that's got a little 40-watt solar panel on the roof. It's a little square panel, cost me about £40 for the fan and that. So obviously in summer that will be just working all the time, but I've been thinking again, little battery converted on that and a controller. And then I've been looking at bigger stuff, bigger panels and doing it. But anyway, it's all, these things are endless, aren't they? You can do so many things. So I'm going to end this video. Hope you enjoyed that one. I know it's just a rambling from me again, but hopefully you've picked some stuff up. If I do this 21.1 now, look, now it's on, the water's circulating now. So obviously what had happened was the pump went off because I kicked the bloody power cable out. It kicked back in, the flow switch has kicked in, told it to heat up because it's now got water flow. Heater's gone on, look, it's on there, and because it's circulating as well, the temperature has now stabilized because it's flowing through. Before it was just been on this little loop. When the pump stops, it's on loop. So obviously the water in there close to the concrete on this slab, it's probably cooling down quite quick in here, hence why it's on 18.8 in here. But now it's circulated, it's getting the whole volume temperature a bit more mixed up, so that should go off soon. So heater's on now. Now I know what people will say, how much is it costing you, Keith, and things like that. Well, to get it bumped up, I reckon that one day, that one night, it's cost me like £5, 6 quid. I think looking at it, I've been looking at my electric bill, I think I'm looking like I'm averaging for my whole house, which is this greenhouse, my house. My lad's got 3 screens in his room. He's got an Xbox, PlayStation. He's got a PlayStation 5. He's got a PC that he has on. My daughter's got a 28-inch screen in her room. We've got a 42-inch screen in our room. We've got devices. So obviously we've got more devices and stuff nowadays as well, but they don't really suck and drag loads of electricity, I've found. It's only when the 1 kilowatt heater goes on and then my fan assisted oven goes on, which is 2 kilowatt and things like that. But anyway, overall you're drawing in consistently a loads of electricity, I suppose, which is not helping. So I think, I remember, and it wasn't that long ago, I think last year, the year before, I was used to paying £200 a month electricity for everything, my house, everything, and my pond out, the pond pumps and this, everything, £200. Now I'm paying £279 a month, and I'm probably chewing £479 a month. Okay, but in terms of what that used, I think it probably cost about £6 to get it up to there, and it's probably going to cost me about £3 a day additional, £3 a day additional. So say 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So it might cost me about £20 a week, £25 a week. I'm expecting another £100 a month just to simply heat this grow on, which is not big. It's only a couple of 100 gallons. Okay, but the fish that's in there I got from Gary in October, I measured it the other day, it's not grown at all. I got it at 23 cm the middle of October, about October the 18th, and as of last week, January the 10th, whatever, 12th, it's not grown nothing. It's just not shifted because it's been too cold. So it'd be a good experiment that between now and next month, February the, I don't know, around about the 20th, something like that, I will measure it again, and I'm hoping it started growing at least 1 centimetre to 2. If I can get 1 centimetre a month, it started growing again. And if you can do that over winter, you might add 5 centimetres onto your fish, minimum. So you think 5 centimetres on a toe size, which is 23, I'm hoping that might be somewhere between, so say it might be 29 centimetres by the time this heater goes off over 3 months. Let's see. But it's at 22. Last year this was at 24. So that'll be interesting. Will they grow at 22? How much? And how much will it grow? And I know a lot of you are probably saying, well, why are you doing that for one fish? Well, I'm not really doing it for one fish. There's three koi in there as well. This is like my QT grow on. Last year it was purely grow on. But this year there's still 3 fish in there that still got a bit of a scale issue on one side that I've dragged out my main pond and put in here. Now I know some of you will say, well, why are you mixing them? They're not spreading anything, they're just healing, gradually getting better, but it's just that final push I want. But if they weren't in there, they'd be normally in my bigger pond, there'd be more room in here, and I would drag a couple more fish out of there, put them in here. So, hope you've enjoyed that one. Before I get sidetracked, I'm not going to simply walk out and not do my check like I preach. So I'm going to practice what I preach, say goodbye, see you on the next one. Hope all your ponds are okay. See you on the next one, goodbye.